Hey folks, welcome to Ketchikan, Alaska. It is beautiful here in the springtime. Days are getting longer. Cruise ships have started to run. Ketchikan is down in the lower peninsula of Alaska, straddling British Columbia, Canada. Today we're on our way to Vancouver, British Columbia in our Alaska Airlines air cargo jet. We are flight number 43. The ground crew has attached the air stairs. They've opened up the left front entry door, and that is about it. They have done nothing else. So let's just take a look around this picturesque scenery in southern Alaska. This is an uncontrolled airport. Look at the fishing boat. Fishing boat right there. Float plane base. Got some general aviation parked at a lower level. And the runway is actually elevated. So we'll have to taxi up a ramp with the grade to get to the runway. Also, there's a general aviation airplane right behind our number 2 engine. So we want to be kind of careful when we fire up that we don't damage that aircraft. But there we are. I know there's a control tower, but believe me, it's an uncontrolled airport. maybe during the season, or if there's a special charter, they might put somebody in the tower, but generally no. But this airport does have scheduled Alaska Airlines service. So it is, people think it's discontinuity that a uncontrolled airport can have scheduled service, but that happens all over the world. So there's the air stairs. Let's climb just up the air stairs and into the entry area. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Entry area. Okay, here's the entry area, just inside the aircraft. We can check the fire extinguisher, see that it's in the green. There's a crash axe there. This crash axe is designed to get into the cargo area. We have another crash axe also. Check the right front door. It is closed and locked. There's a small galley and intercom system and door controls. And some life vests are in the cabinets here below, but it's pretty Spartan right here. Let's go into the cargo bay. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. That's what I wanted. Look at that. Empty, empty. There's the entry door that we just came through, and the air stairs. But that cargo bay won't be empty soon. Our job today is to get it all loaded up and ready for flight. So let's hop up to the front. And I'm going to go to Flight Simulator Actions, Ground Services. Change our power type, not GPU. I want external pit power. And that's what things look like right now. Once I request the pit power, there's the power supply, and we'll run a cable down to the bottom of the aircraft, which will give us our pit power. Any second. Come on, pit power, where are ya? Oh, there it is. I didn't see that yellow cable. That yellow cable is the pit power cable. So we ought to have basic power. Let's go upstairs. And we have ground power available. So I'm going to go battery on. 24 volt DC, 116 volt AC. Let's take that ground power. We want to do some really basic safety things while we're up here. Let's hit the emergency exit lights into the armed position. Make sure our position light is steady. Make sure we got 3 green on the landing gear down here. Make sure we also have Landing gear handle down. Brakes are set. Throttle handles are in the aft position. Spoilers are retracted. Flaps are full up. That should be good. Let's go back to our CDU. Flight simulator action. Ground services. Okay, we have power. Stairs at one left are inhibited, but they're still there. Next page. We can request a fuel truck. We only have 1,000 kilograms of fuel. Our target today is target fuel is block fuel 6703, so let's round that up to 6,800. And we will request the fuel truck. Here he comes. He's going to first attach a fuel line to the ground, which leads into an underground fuel tank. And then he will string the line into the aircraft. Come on, string your line to the aircraft. There it goes, into the wing receptacle. And I want to make sure the seatbelt sign is off. No passenger loading while fueling, but cargo loading seems to be okay. So we'll continue on. And we'll start the fueling process. And this will slowly tick up to our target fuel of 6,800. Next page. We do not want to release the stairs. We don't need galley. We don't need another crew entry at one left. We can request a forward loader, forward carts, aft loader, aft carts. Now some of this won't come because the fueling is blocking their entry. But we're going to be a full load. So let's take a look and see what we have here for a load. Cargo 17,046. And I'm just going to put a calculator right here. Calculator. Got to be able to spell. There's a calculator. 17,046. That's the fuel we're aiming at. And I know these lower areas can't hold that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 99999, which is way beyond capacity. And it's going to put in the capacity, the target, 2122. Reduced to capacity. And I'm going to do the same thing for this reduced to capacity. Okay. And aft cart is connecting. I'm going to... Now again, the forward one is not able to connect because the fuel hose is in the way, but we'll release that as soon as we're able. We're going to go ahead and start the loading. So 2902 plus 2122 from 17,046. So let's subtract 2902 equals, and we'll subtract 2122 equals 12022. So 12022, that should go into the main upstairs palletized loading. So let's go to the next page. Now remember, our target was, oops, what was our target? 2122? 12022. 12022. So let's put in 12022 and request. Here comes our pallet loader. And probably would help if we opened that door. Connecting. It's going to open the door by itself. There it goes. This is a very good crew. Now you remember we looked inside. We verified that the aircraft was empty. There were no pallets on the main pallet deck. We have the door fully loaded. Oh, okay, we're raising into position. Raising the loader into position. And we can start. Okay, we'll start the loading process. And while that's happening, let's continue getting things squared away in here. Let's do our fuel pumps are off for now. Crossfeed valve, we can check. Bright, dim. Back to bright again. Crossfeed is off. Control panels, FMC, IRS, and VNAV are all in the normal position. Sources to auto. Yaw damper can wait until we have the APU on. Spoiler, flight control. Standbys are guarded and off. Alternate flap standby is off. We can do a test on the leading edge flaps and slats. That is fine. We'll get the IRS aligned. Left system aligned to nav. Right system aligned to nav. We'll spin this lower dial, and that should give us an idea of how long it'll take in the alignment process. 9 minutes. Service interphone is off. We don't need the dome light. 3 green and down on the landing gear. Passenger oxygen is guarded and normal. I don't even know if we don't have drop-down passenger oxygen back there in the cargo, so I'm not sure exactly what function that would serve. Flight recorder, we can do a flight recorder test, off and then back on and guarded. Mach airspeed warning test, system number 1. System number 2. Stall warning test, system number 1. System number 2. This is our number 3 radio. I want the nav 1 speaker on. I want the marker beacon speaker on. It's hooked up to the number 1 mic. We'll turn the PA on. Use this for public address announcements. Crew oxygen level is fine. And we're looking awful good up here. Let's go back down to our main overhead panel. We've checked the far left side. Wipers we won't turn on unless it's actually raining. APU is off. Position light is steady. That's the only exterior light that's on. We are on external power. Ground power is available. Standby power disconnects are okay. 24 volts on the battery, 28 volts on the battery bus. That's the way it should be. Ground power is providing 115 AC. Galley light is on. I'm going to kick up some of these lights here in the center console. Equipment cooling, supply and exhaust is to normal. Emergency lights are on. Seatbelt light is off. We'll turn the chime on. Test the attend button. Test the ground call button. We can turn the window heat on. Leave the probe heat off until we are no longer have ground personnel around. Those exterior probes can become hot and dangerous to ground personnel. Anti-ice and wing and engine anti-ice we can also leave off. We don't need them today. They can also be hot. Leave the hydraulic pumps off for right now. Forward entry door open. Forward cargo, aft cargo doors are open. Cockpit voice recorder. Test is good. The little light came on. Altitude horn cut off. Pressure altitude, we are venting to outside. When we do start to climb, you'll see cabin climb during the ascent as we pressure up the airplane up and down. Also, you'll notice that these needles move somewhere near the yellow zone. We could, in theory, pressurize the airplane all the way to sea level. And what that would happen is Grandma would be very comfortable in the back. Everyone would be very comfortable. You ever hear your doctor say, don't fly after surgery? That's because the cabin is not pressurized to sea level. If the captain were to pressurize the fuel to sea level, it'd be just like being at home. You could have surgery, you could have dental work, no problems flying. But that's not what happens. As we're climbing, you'll notice the cabin altitude won't be the same as the external altitude, but it won't get any higher than about 7,000 feet. And the reason for that is that that's called a compromise altitude. We're not at sea level, but we are a little bit high. And, you know, imagine the airplane skin as being a balloon. The spars and the outer skin, every time the aircraft ascends, exterior air pressure diminishes and the skin of the aircraft will expand. And as that skin of the aircraft expands, it puts stress on the spars and on the skin. And as the plane descends, the external pressure becomes greater and the skin and the spars contract. And over time, that expansion and contraction, just like bending a spoon, will weaken the metal structure of the aircraft. So instead of pumping it all full of air and having that massive difference between outside and inside, a compromise altitude has been chosen. This will keep you safe, keep Grandma safe, but yet it's not stressing the cabin more than necessary. Also, the cabin air is provided from bleed air from the engines. And to get that engines, the engines must burn fuel. Well, fuel is expensive, and airlines are cheap. They do not like buying fuel unnecessarily. So they will not spend the extra fuel to keep you and Grandma alive. Also, just like a balloon, your body is made of internal organs. And as you ascend, as cabin pressure decreases, your body organs will also expand, especially your bladder and your intestines, and your eyes, inside your eyes. So if you've had eye surgery or bladder surgery or intestine surgery especially, but any type of surgery can be dangerous. But that's why, you ever get on an airplane and you sort of kind of have to go to the bathroom, but once you take off, you really have to go to the bathroom? And that's because your bladder has expanded and now it's telling you that you really need to go to the bathroom. So all of that is because of the compromised altitude chosen by the airline long ahead of time. So that's fine. Our altitude here in Ketchikan, let's look and see here. Let's see what our new flight from SimBrief. There's our flight. I don't want Vancouver. I want Ketchikan. And our altitude is 92 feet. While we're here, we might as well do a taxi briefing. So here we are at the gate. We're pointing outward. We do not need a pushback. We're going to be departing from runway 11, so taxiway A down to the start of runway 11. We're not going to do a taxi back. We're just going to depart from the intersection. Intersection takeoff. Is there a distance on the intersection takeoff? Not sure what the distance on the intersection takeoff is. Okay, but that's our taxi brief. Let's look at our departure. We're using the, is it the Skull 2 departure? No, it's the Set K6 departure. Set K6. This is the Ketchikan 6. The Ketchikan 6 departure, or the Set K6 departure from runway 11. Fly runway heading at or above 2,000 feet to 190, 147, and then on to a net, VOR and net. So let's tune in that VOR. That's 117.1. We'll put that in the active, nav 1. The altitude is 92 feet, so we'll want to crank that in to our landing altitude just in case we need to come back. I'm going to, we're not going to climb very high for this flight. 14,000 feet is as high as we're going to get. So 14,000 feet it is. PAKTs are off. APU is not running. I'm going to turn on the recirc fan. Oh, the recirc fan is in-op. Oh, that's a shame. I'm a big fan of the recirc fan. Air conditioning is set to auto. The passenger cabin, or in this case the cargo cabin, is a little cooler than the supply duct, which is fine. Let's take a look at our loading process and see how that loading is going. We are loaded. Main loading is complete. We'll detach the pallet loader. You can see it's starting to descend. We are loaded in the rear, so we'll release the aft loaders and detach. We are loaded for fuel, so we'll release the fuel. You can see there's the fuel line to the aircraft has been detached, and very soon the fuel line to the ground tank will be detached as well. Rear cart is gone. The rear loader should be departing here soon. There goes the hose from the tank, and soon that fuel truck will drive away. There he goes. So the only thing... Oh, there goes the pallet loader. And the upper cargo door is closed as well. So let's get that rear. Oh, forward carts are arriving. Here come the carts for the forward. Aft is loaded and closed. And let's start. Loading process is starting for the rear cabin. Let's go back to the overhead. Fueling has been complete. We can turn the seatbelt sign on. We're pretty much done up here. Let's go to the MCP. Oh, okay, well, while we're here, let's do an oxygen test on the captain's side. That is fine. Let's go over to the first officer's side. That's fine. I don't remember doing an oxygen test on the oh, look at these circuit breakers. Ah, that's just gorgeous. Let's do a rainbow check. Rainbow check. Let's take a look at the fire extinguisher here. The fire extinguisher bottle is in the green. We want to put our eyes right along the edge of these circuit breakers and check all these circuit breakers are in. There'll be a white little collar around them if one of them is popped out. Those look beautiful. Oh, can't get over how gorgeous this airplane is. And then down here on the floor are the emergency landing gear deploy valves. In case we have a problem with the main landing gear release, we can always pop this open, pull these valves for gravity assist landing gear extension. That is fine. We can check the circuit breakers on this side. Looking also here for the crash axe. There should be a crash axe down here. Let's see if it's here. Yep, there's the crash axe. Probably also find a first aid kit, maybe some logbooks, airframe, power plant logbooks. On the back of the door, we should have, is that a first aid kit right here? No, this is emergency oxygen, PBE, personal breathing apparatus. The U.S. Navy, I think, developed those. Here's the airworthiness certificate. Here is the registration. Probably also want to find a radio operator's permit. You want to find a MIL list, minimum equipment list. This is a list of items that the airplane can have broken or missing and still operate. Okay, well, here's the oxygen supply for the jump seat passenger. Having a hard time getting it in view here. Well, I'll check it. I'll check it here in just. I'll check it here as soon as I'm able. Let's. Can I come around this way? Well, let's pop out the. Pop out and check the jump seat. Pretty cool. You can see the jump seat has its own Clark headset, which is attached, and there the jump seat is folding back out of position. I'm a little concerned that I'm not able to get to that oxygen back here behind the flight deck. There we go. There we go. Okay, test the oxygen back here. That is wonderful. Here's the emergency escape rope, spare bulbs, all part of the rainbow check. Put your eyes down on the floor, landing gear pins. Wrap your eyes around and down in the shape of a rainbow. And that is the rainbow check. Now the rainbow check is complete. Okay, that feels good. And only then can you really properly take your seat. Looks like the loading is complete, so we can release the forward doors and also release the air stairs since everyone's aboard. Send the air stairs about their way. There go the carts. There go the air stairs. And pretty soon that loader will disappear as well. Well, folks, that concludes our initial video in preparing the aircraft, getting it fuel loaded, cargo loaded, some of the initial checks done, and we will continue in the next video.